All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Thursday. How are you? Today, in my astrology group, we're going to talk about all of these massive outer planets that have all just changed signs, especially the Uranus and Gemini. I think I'm going to focus on that one today. I really want you to get a handle on how it might be impacting your life. It's in there for a long time. It's going to be like 7-8 years, 2032. Okay, so it's going to be a long time. Pluto in Aquarius is there for 20 years. We talked about that one a lot earlier this year, and late last year especially. And then Neptune moving into Aries. It's in retrograde right now, going back into Pisces later this fall, or later this fall. So those big outer planets have to do with generational change. And, one of the things that may be coming up is how if you have felt like you were not doing enough, or you're not sort of living up to somebody else's expectations, I feel like this is a time when really people's individuality is going to become very important. And I feel that because of this need or this experience of everybody must do the same thing. And I think you're going to see that pressure more and more. It's been the past, it's certainly in my lifetime, there's been this sense of like, what's your mission? What's your passion? Where are you going? I almost feel like there's going to be people who kind of try to pull you back from that, especially mission and passion in your spiritual growth. So I want you to be on alert for that. Anybody who wants to sort of pull you back from your spiritual path, really don't just glaze over that. Okay. So if you're starting to express yourself in a very aligned way and it kind of runs afoul of other people, no bueno. Like that's not and they're trying to pull you back. Okay. Please pay attention to that. Yep. Here we go. Power. Please, please, please pay attention to that. Shadow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Home. And stormy. Ugh. Okay. So this reading is definitely for some of you who have been through this with family. Okay. And there may be another chapter coming up of this. So I just, awareness is really the key to everything. Like once, when you say stuff like, once I see it, I can't unsee it. Like that's a real thing. And that's a super important thing. Once you see a coercive family system, once you see narcissism, once you see, like, you can't unsee it. And whatever it's triggering in you, whatever, like if you kind of go blind to it, right? Like nose blind to something, or you kind of go blind to it and you just fall back into old patterns, that's like the opposite of awareness. But once you're aware of your patterns and you're like, oh yeah, this is why I have trouble with relationships. This is why I feel like I can't, deviate from the expectations of my family. This is why I feel really scared about doing something that's outside of that boundary. Power and control, coercive control is a real thing. And we talk about that more as we go on here. Queen of Cups, King of Pentacles, Justice, Ace of Cups, and the Page of Cups. I keep getting that there's a reason for this resurgence of some kind of family issue, because that's where stuff comes from, right? That's where it all comes from, is in your upbringing. There's certain things that, family expectations, belief systems, whatever, some of them are not harmful. Some of them are harmful. It's kind of up to you to determine that in your own life. There's plenty of people who live and die by very harmful things, but they have decided that that's what they want and that's fully their right to do. This is about, I feel like I am connecting with a group of you, and I certainly have been doing this for several years, where I'm connecting with a group of you who are just sort of learning about this and realizing like, oh, wait a second, that might be something that's harmful. All right, I had to shut off my phone. So there's definitely something here about an imbalance that's becoming balanced. And I feel like this Queen of Cups I love. And this is the Ember and Aura deck. See how her third eye is open and her eyes are closed. It may have been that your eyes have been closed to a certain kind of way of power is being wielded in your life. It doesn't have to be family, but it definitely comes from there. Definitely, there's probably some past life stuff too that might be showing up depending on how you're feeling about things. And there can be some kind of sense of it can be within an intimate partnership, because we are talking about home and the home you create versus the home you grew up in. Those two things overlap in a big way, not physically necessarily, but sometimes, there's certain traditions that, you may think are great, or you may think are harmful, or you may think are great at one point and then they become harmful, they become toxic. So, I'm only talking about that side of it because I'm getting this shadow and this power kind of energy that says, hey, I'm waking you up from this sleep about something that has been holding you back in certain areas of your life. Maybe it's been holding you back in your romantic relationships. Maybe it's been holding you back in terms of your work. Maybe if you have trouble in the workplace, that could indicate, and whatever that is, it's likely that if you're like, I don't know what happened, this, I was just going along doing my thing and then all of a sudden they fired me. Okay, well, maybe there's a financial reason, maybe there's a boss problem, maybe you can only know over time. Like one incident is not a pattern. So we've all had problems with people in our lives. That doesn't mean it's a pattern. Okay. We all kind of have gone through situations where we're like, ugh, that did not work at all. It doesn't mean, it's really just showing you like who you are and what you want. But when something happens over and over again and you're constantly like, it has nothing to do with me, this is just that other person. And well, that's happened 3 or 4 times now. Like, this is something that maybe you need to wake up to, and like, oh, it doesn't mean it's your fault. It just means like, oh, okay, how is this pattern then playing out in my life? What's the energy behind it? What lesson can I learn from it? Can I grow from this? And I feel like you can grow from this in a big way. This might be, I am getting a little bit of energy of Saturn here, even though that's Pluto, and Pluto is ruling Scorpio. I'm getting the energy of Saturn. So the full moon in Capricorn is coming up. I did a reading about that yesterday, and this has to do with power and control and systems that need releasing if they are harming you and blocking your progress. Capricorn in a sort of vibrant and positive way is a super duper awesome ability to be disciplined. It's allowing you to learn lessons. Capricorn is wonderful for grounding and being able to be determined about something. There's nothing wrong with that, right? When Capricorn goes into shadow, there can be controlling aspects. There can be domineering and aspects that aren't that good. So whatever you feel, if you feel like you have to manage somebody, if you feel like you have to walk on eggshells around somebody, if you feel like you can't be yourself around somebody, there's a lot of things you can't say to that person. No bueno. That's major red flag energy right there. Okay. So 7 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups. This could be showing up in a romantic relationship. And you're like, where's this coming from? Or, oh, wow, I've had this pattern show up over and over again in my love relationships. Awakening. Oh, that's what's going on. The Judgment card, the King of Swords. There definitely is a person who thinks, look at how he balances that sword. She balances that sword. I think I know everything. That's a little bit of shadow of the King of Swords. I don't have any emotion around it. I think I know everything. This is the lawyer card. This is the card of emotional detachment around truth. Now there's a positive energy of that, of like, hey, listen, the truth is necessary, very necessary. But when it's wielded to hurt people, that's not necessarily a good use of communication. And we are now in Uranus and Gemini, so communication is going to be a thing. I also see Libra here. I see Libra in Aquarius. So I am getting, and the King of Pentacles over here can be about money, controlling money. Seven of Pentacles, something I've been doing for a long time. Seven of Pentacles, and seeing the truth about it, and then wow, there may be somebody who is going to blast you, because I am getting this power and stormy energy. There's worry around this. The moon, there's the moon in Capricorn, full moon in Capricorn. Oh, strength, I love it. And then the Chariot, beautiful. So Cancerian energy and Leo energy here at the bottom. This is like the energy that's on offer to you, which is about courage. Okay, courage and having power. The Chariot card is about self-nurturance. And I feel like if you are in some kind of self-development mode right now, and that may take your focus very internally, right? You may be going inside like this Queen of Cups is doing, and there's some kind of accusation about that. Like all you care is about yourself. So narcissistic of you and everything like that. I want to flip the script on that and just say to you, good. Good. You are needing to pay attention to yourself right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. If someone feels, a grown-ass person feels like they need all of your attention, no bueno. Okay? Or they need all of your time. They need, I'm like, hey, you're not the only headline here. Okay? And it's important for you to stand up for yourself. It's important for you. This awakening is saying, oh, wow, I'm seeing all the patterns, right? Oh my goodness, I'm seeing all the patterns that are showing up in my life. Holy cow. How do I access this? So I feel like the moon in Capricorn, full moon in Capricorn, one of the things you can do with this full moon in Capricorn coming up on the 10th, and Saturn goes retrograde 2 days later on the 12th, you can perform, it can be a burn ceremony, which I've talked about in the past. If you're interested in that, drop a comment and I'll make a short about a burn ceremony, what that is. I'll also make a short, if you're interested, again, drop a comment. I will make a short about what to do in this full moon energy in Capricorn, okay? It has to do with releasing, and it has to do with something around Earth. There's something around home. Some of you may be physically moving or feel called to move. Maybe some of you are too close to the epicenter of this. And it's important that you get away from it in order to determine who you are. And that might be, if this is a love relationship that you're considering ending, I feel like I feel like this person is going to give you a lot of feedback, not all of it constructive, and much of it hurtful. Okay, much of it hurtful. It's kind of like, you're making my point. So if you are moving on from a situation and this King of Swords comes at you, I want you to, do your best Wonder Woman impersonation and bounce that away from you. But my response to that would be, you're making my point. Making my point. I don't need to be around this. This is hurtful and not meant as a constructive criticism. This doesn't build anything. This tears other people down. Whatever you want to say. So 4 of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles, the 10 of Wands, 5 of Swords. Oh yeah. This is meant in a malicious way. And it's because look at her in these 3. These are obviously 3 different women in these cards, but look, they all have in common is their eyes are closed. They're all going inward to nurture themselves, to release old habits. Four of Pentacles in this deck has to do with meditation, right? And I will never forget that when I was really going through a rough time, after my divorce, I opted to go to Kripalu, which is a wonderful place to go. It's a retreat center. And I did a meditation retreat, and I was just berated for that. And like, what a waste of money that was and everything like that. And I'm like, I still get benefit from that. And that was in 2008, 2009. I still utilize some of the things I learned there. I still, a lot of my journaling techniques that I use, I learned there. And now I've developed some of my own. Again, if you want a short on that, I will make a short on that. So this is definitely something that says you're getting your power back by look at the moon. You're like looking at that person. This is a mirroring exercise. You're looking at that person that you've become, and you're like, okay, it's time for me to utilize this experience as a way to gain power, not a way to be torn down by it, a way to gain power. And so this card here, this power card, Pluto in retrograde right now in the sign of Aquarius is being aspected, meaning it is talking to Uranus. It just moved into Gemini. They're both in the early degrees of those air signs. And that means that they are flowing together. So any kind of a trine, they are any kind of sudden conversation, Uranus and Gemini, is triggering some kind of reflective internal transformation. And in Aquarius, this has to do with you evolving. And part of this, because I see so many cup energies here, this can come from a love partner or a family member. And it's up to you to protect yourself and take the pieces of it that are constructive. This person may not say a whole bunch of things that aren't constructive, but I feel like because judgment is right next to this King of Swords, I feel like this person is going to be super duper judgmental and say a bunch of things that are designed to hurt you. Designed. And I'm saying that because of this Five of Swords. Okay, so one more thing. Oh yeah, Emperor, Ace of Swords. There's a conversation coming. There is a conversation coming in which the truth needs to be shared. And if that's something that you are having trouble with, the Emperor, and it's sort of like the Aries energy is about taking the lead. You could be taking the lead on this conversation, or if this person starts off the conversation, you're needing to frame it, drive the narrative of what we're talking about. Meaning, this person just comes at you with a bunch of criticism. Your job is to stand in the power of that moment and say, okay, hold on. Just settle down for a second. I hear that you've got something to say to me, but what I'm hearing is super not meant as a beneficial statement to me. It sounds like you're spewing anger. And so if you want to take a moment and collect yourself, that would be awesome. We can talk another time. That's what I'm talking about. Or if this person is just like cold as ice, whatever, it's like, hey, listen, this doesn't sound very constructive to me. We're going to do this another time. Of my choosing. There's some stuff to say. December, in time for their birthday, this weekend, and as soon as you take action. So there's definitely a possibility, because this weekend is the full moon in Capricorn. I'm just gonna, the 10th, what day does it fall on? The 10th. Oh no, it's today. I thought it was this weekend, but it is the 10th. It is today as I'm doing this. Wow. Wow. I guess I said that yesterday. I'm sorry. So the 10th is falling on the 10th. Why did I think it was the 12th? Because I'm confusing that with Saturn return. I get it. Or Saturn retrograding. So it is today. This weekend, if you don't decide to sort of purge something here, maybe some of you are deciding to stand up and step up. Maybe some of you are going to have a conversation this weekend as soon as you take action. Some of you may have something to say to somebody else. And it's time for you to do that. It's time for you to do that. Something happened in December around the holidays. If you celebrate, there was something big that was happening there. And I feel like because that's really when Pluto was fully in Aquarius for good, right? It was happening in November. So around holiday time, and whenever their birthday is, I don't know if there was something that happened on their birthday too. There's something that's gonna be a fallout this weekend of that. Okay, something that's going to be a fallout this weekend of that. Fool, new beginning, Empress, King of Cups, beautiful, 10 of Cups. I like that kind of fallout. This person needs to get out of your way. They do. They are holding on to you. And, you know, one of the things that we talk about with a full moon is releasing. So I will do a short on that. I will do a short on that, on releasing in the full moon in Capricorn. Okay, let's continue on with this reading. If this is your reading, there's a link below if you want to go deeper with me. But this energy says there's going to be a conversation, and I feel like you're going to have to stand in your power. All right? Okay. Link is below if you want to keep going. I'll see you over there. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.